Hi, I'm Richard from Capo Volkswagen. Here we are at the beautiful Ontario Convention Center. There is a car show going on, and Volkswagen is having a ride and drive event, and they have graciously allowed me to take one of their GTIs for a couple hours to do a first look. It's May 15th, 16th, and they're not coming out in America for another month or so, but I wanted to show you the new GTI. I think it's absolutely beautiful. You can see that the car is a little bit different from what it used to be. It's a little more squared off. Here's something I really like. The daytime running lights used to be individual LEDs. Now they've done this kind of almost a fiber optic look to it. A couple other things I really like. These big, long kind of strakes or wings here going into the LED fog lamps here. I want to turn on the headlights for you also. This particular car has the xenon headlamps. So you can see the LED fog lamps down at the bottom and then the xenon headlamps up top. This is the Autobahn edition, so it's pretty well full-featured. So underneath the hood is Volkswagen's new updated 2.0 TSI engine. It is 210 horsepower now, and I believe, if I remember correctly, it's 258 pounds-feet of torque. A lot more torque than they had in the previous GTI. You can see that they have modified the traditional Detroit style wheels. They've taken them, and instead of doing the circles that they had for many years, they've kind of gone with this a little bit almost a fan shape. They've kept the red brake calipers. They've also, up here on the quarter panel, added this little GTI thing so that the people next to you can see that it's a GTI. Another thing I want to draw your attention to is right here. This little triangle window right here. It doesn't look like much, but I noticed while driving it that you go around those little corners, and you know, the sills on cars these days is so high, you're trying to go around a corner and you see a curb. That actually allows you to see that curb, which many cars these days cut off. You can see that they've made everything a little bit more horizontal. The car is actually a couple inches lower than it was last year. This little line here between the taillights I really like. The taillights are a little more angled, a little more pointy. From a distance, you can definitely tell that it's a sporty GTI. The dual exhaust pipes on the outside remain from the Mark 6. Of course, opening the hatch like this. Kind of a traditional thing now with Volkswagen. I want to show you the versatility of the back, the storage area. They've done a lot with that. So the cargo cover in the back, this little cargo cover, you know, a lot of times you just take it out and you leave it in your garage because you're not sure what to do with it if you're going to go somewhere and get something. Volkswagen has actually thought of that. You take this out, you lift up this portion, which actually has a couple of little rubber stays there. Take out these little side pockets, turn it upside down, and it slips down in here. Put those little side pieces back in so that it stays in place. And voila, you have no more cargo cover, so you can have a tall item in here. Putting down the seats, you can see that the seats go a little bit flatter than they did in the Mark 6, so you have a very flat, overall flat load floor. Now I'm going to take this back out because I want to show you something else cool that this does. Just going to set it aside for right now. Let's say you just need a little bit more depth for space back here in your cargo area. You can take this out, slide it down, and you've got about, I don't know, 3 more inches of vertical storage here. And you'll notice that the cover actually makes a little slope to go up onto the back seats. So very versatile back storage area in the new Mark 7. Overall, the car is a couple of inches longer Most of that actually went into storage space for cargo. Not a whole lot to backseat legroom. It's like maybe half an inch longer backseat legroom than the Mark 6. But I actually have adequate legroom back here. I have this seat where I would normally sit, and I've got pretty long legs. I want to show you the interior. This is the Autobahn. This is the same interior on the Autobahn and the SE. You'll notice it's black leather with the red stitching. That's the kind of traditional black leather. The red stitching is traditional on the GTIs. The traditional plaid interior is only available on the S with the new Mark 7. You'll see that there are air conditioning vents here in the center for your back seat passengers, as well as underneath both front seats. Up in the roof, we have LED lighting for all 4 seating areas. Up here, up front. LEDs are fairly common all over in this car. You'll notice that the sunroof, here's the actual panoramic sunroof right here. They've done a gloss black all the way around. It gives it that very German look that's going on right now, where you've painted the roof black, even though the rest of the car is a different color. But this part is the sunroof. The sunroof, of course, either tilts like this, or you can slide it back like that. It goes on the outside, so it doesn't take up any headroom for the back seat passengers, but it gives you a really nice, very panoramic, open roof feeling. Dashboard on the new Mark 7 GTI it's similar to the Mark 6. It's got, you know, your tachometer over here, your speedometer over here. You'll notice here in the center, though, you've got a full color screen, very high res. It's not just the little two-tone, you know, black and white one. And yes, it does say lap timer. You do have a lap timer if you want to go to track day in your car. Under navigation, if you have a destination input, it'll tell you where your next turn is. Audio, you can actually do quite a bit of audio right from the steering wheel these days. And telephone and vehicle status, all that kind of stuff. You'll notice that the steering wheel is still the nice, thick, leather-wrapped steering wheel, red stitching, flat bottom, race wheel. You're going to notice that there's a lot more buttons here on the front of the steering wheel. Traditionally, Volkswagen has had all the stereo controls on the left side and then car controls on the right side, with cruise control over on your blinker stock. Volkswagen has moved cruise control to the front here. So you've got your on and off and your set and your resume right here. All of your volume buttons are down here, and then on the right are your buttons for song to song or station to station. On the right part, up and down, left and right, and OK are still the same when it comes to interacting with the central media device or the central computer. Your telephone and talk to the car have moved over to this side from the left. Shouldn't be too difficult to get used to. It's just a little different from what I'm used to. One of the biggest differences you're going to see is the stereo. Now watch the screen as I reach for it. It automatically brings up the buttons. You don't have to reach up and bring up the buttons. So when I put my hand down, it's actually, the buttons are going to go away so that you can see a little bit more of the central computer screen. Of course, just like all navigation units, you can adjust how you see everything. You can do it with the knob here. Something new this year, you can do it by pinching. I think they took that for something from Apple there. Another nice thing, instead of having to hit nav every time you want to go to your input screen, when you reach up, you've got your input buttons here. So you can say new destination. Of course, you can tap right here and say which city you want to go to, all that kind of stuff, type right on the screen. And it's actually quite responsive. And there is a lot more data on the hard drive than there is on the previous model, which was called the RNS 315. as far as the stereo goes, in this model we have the Fender sound system. Down here is where you plug in your phone or your iPod or what have you. There are different cables that you can plug into what they call the media device interface. This one happens to be for an iPhone 5. So plug it in, it's going to charge your phone, slide it back in here, and it connects your device automatically. Go to your media, and it's going to show you the song that you're playing, and of course, like before, you can hit selection, go into your music, choose your playlists. Now, instead of having to use the knob to adjust this, you can actually slide the screen, another page from Apple's book there, to choose the different artists or songs or whatever that you want to listen to. Another nice thing of the Fender sound system, it has 8 speakers and a subwoofer, and when you adjust the sound on it, set up sound, not only can you adjust your bass and treble and mid-range, but there's even a separate subwoofer adjustment now. So if you want a lot of bass or just a little or just right in the middle, you can adjust it to your liking. The navigation system also does have traffic information. If you hit traffic, it's going to show you the traffic reports around you. And then if you put in a destination, it will let you know if there is a traffic disruption on the way and if there is a detour that you can take to get around it. Something new this year, you can press the voice button on the steering wheel or here and enter destinations with your voice. You do not have to use your fingers, so you can do it while driving.
Pardon?
She wants to know what I wanted to say. New destination.
Please say the city in California.
San Diego.
Did you mean San Diego?
Yeah, yes.
San Diego has been applied.
I'm just going to hit start.
The route is being calculated.
Once it's calculated the route, it will, of course, show it up here on this screen, but also here in the central screen. Right now it's saying I'm off a road, so you can't actually see, it doesn't know what road I'm on. But as soon as I hit a road, it will say what road I'm on, what my next turn is, and that way you can look down at your dashboard rather than having to distract yourself by looking all the way down here at your navigation screen. So I'm gonna head out here and try and go to a place that I think might be nice. So on the road, you still have that nice familiar growl that you get with the exhaust in the 2.0
Now turn left.
T engine. Right now I'm in normal drive mode. You can choose your drive mode by pressing this little button right down here by the gear shift lever. When you press it, it actually comes up with some options here. There's normal, sport, or individual. The sport mode adjusts how the engine reacts and how the steering reacts, all that kind of stuff, and how the headlights react on the ones with the xenon headlamps. Under individual, you can actually choose what reacts how. Or if you hit sport, it's just the normal sport mode. So I'm in sport mode now, and yes, I'm in a residential area, so I'm not really going to be speeding, but I did want to kind of feel a few curves. They tell me that it's very well balanced front to rear, and I have to say that that does feel correct. It feels very balanced front to back, and I know that it does have the XDS, which is the XDS system. The XDS system is kind of a electronic version of a limited slip differential, and it's really nice. That way, when you take a corner, the power goes to the outside wheel rather than slipping on the inside wheel. I don't know this area very well, so I'm just trying to find some kind of curvy roads. In sport mode, you can really hear that engine wrap up, that's for sure. So all in all, I think the MK7 GTI is an exciting update to the GTI line of Volkswagens. From the Mark 1 all the way to now, I think they've just been improved every single time. I really like the interface, the central navigation system, and the handling is really quite amazing. Again, I'm Richard with Capo Volkswagen, and contact me with any questions. Thanks.